Thanks for showing up for this episode of the Rev Build-Up. Now, I just received a bunch of parts from BRP, all right from their factory, and I'm going to tell you what they are and what I'm going to do with them. Now, this 2003 chassis has a smaller chain case on it, so in order to put my ZX chassis chain case, I need to remove those footwells and install these ones here. These are off a 2004, and they're going to give me the room. It's also going to drop and pull back the chain case just slightly, so it's going to give me a little bit more clearance as well. This is a reinforcement bracket. It goes on the right side, upper, just in front of the bulkhead. This reinforces it where that tunnel wants to bend a little bit. A lot of people on there said an 07 Summit airbox for the 800 works really well, adds a couple horsepower. Hey, had to order that. More power, who can say no to that? Got some 440 race bushings for the motor mounts. Now, in order to move that chain case back, you have to move one of the bolts that holds the chain case on. And they made this little, what they call it, a spacer. And it actually just sort of moves it back a little bit and allows you to bolt up the other chain case. So I had to order that. When you order nuts and bolts from BRP, they don't come as singles. Usually they come in bulk packages of 10. So I ended up with a bunch of extra nuts and bolts. But I kind of don't mind because I'll use those somewhere else. They're nice and shiny, and I kind of like the bling. So I have a breakdown of all the parts so far with the part numbers. You'll see that on here. You can refer to that when you need to order your parts. And don't forget you need some good stainless steel rivets and perhaps a cutoff blade for your grinder just to clean things up a little bit so you can make everything fit. So that's the mission for today. I want to get these things installed, and then I have to move on to the land because we're going sledding tomorrow. Let's get on it. First thing I'm going to install is this 440 race bracket. This is for their 2004 440 race sled. Race Rev. So this is going to be very strong. It's going to, beef this right up. Something along the line of this system here is going to have to give at some point if you take on a frontal impact. So I'd rather be one of those A-arms than maybe this part of the bulkhead or the tunnel here, or maybe the nun. So I'm going to beef this right up, and it is going to be nice and strong. If you're not sure where everything goes, what kind of nuts and bolts you need, you can always check out online and just look in their parts manual. It's going to tell you whether or not you need a rivet or a certain type of bolt. No movement in that. With that backing plate on here, now this rigid support, she's pretty tight. Now we're going to put this brace in here. So I figured the best thing to do is forget those holes. I'm just going to use these rivet holes and use those as my guide, more or less, to put this thing in place. Now, those are stainless steel rivets with a metal washer on the back. I want this thing to be good and solid. I'll just drill out these chain case holes here. You can see how much this rolls the chain case down and back. That's a good thing. Just going to ream it out with this here, and this is a die grinder that's meant for aluminum. Don't use the one that's meant for steel. Make sure you wear your glasses with this. On the very back of this little spacer here, there's a little dimple or a little nipple that comes out, and it's supposed to poke into the frame or the tunnel. I can see where it's supposed to be. I just sort of jammed that in there, so now I know where it needs to go. I'll pop it out, drill a little pilot hole, and it'll hold it in place. Right there. I'm not going to tighten this up until I get the chain case set into place, and I'll tighten that up, and everything should just be aligned perfectly. Oh yeah, look at that. Before I install anything back in here, I'm going to clean that all up. And obviously I can't put my C3 PowerSports synchro drive in there until I have my axle, my track, and my suspension in. So that's going to have to hold off for a little bit because I need to put my tunnel extension on, flip it upside down, do a bunch of things. I got to tell you, I'm not getting a kickback for any of those C3 PowerSports synchro drives, but they do make a difference. I'm telling you, that's 5 to 7 pounds lost on your sled, depending on if you have mechanical reverse or not. And it just winds up so fast, it's awesome, just like those new Polaris. Anyway, I'm gonna do the other side now, get that done. Now, Keely came up with a really good suggestion, and you know, it doesn't happen often, but I'll admit it was a good one. When you're riveting these, do it from the inside out, because for me it doesn't matter. I've got a 15-inch wide track, but if you have a 16-inch wide track, just there's not as much room in there, and you might rub on the ends of the rivets. So rivet from the inside out, and you won't have an issue. Okay, time to make some noise. Yes, I know I had a big black streak across my forehead, but you know, I didn't have anybody here to tell me, and I didn't have a mirror. So you had to put up with it for the whole video. Sorry about that. But anyway, you know, we got a lot done today. I got the brackets in, I got the chain case in. I've been fiddling around here a little bit with the cross shaft, the jack shaft, just making sure everything fits up and lines up. The jack shaft off the Rev is slightly longer than the one on the ZX chassis, which is going to work out well for me for aligning my clutches. So that's good. But thanks for coming back. I always enjoy when you guys show up. Make sure you hit the big thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't, and stay tuned for more videos. Check me out on Facebook as well. Thanks for watching.